Quem maior é Deus, quem maior é Deus, pequeno sou eu. O que eu tenho foi Deus que me deu, o que eu tenho foi Deus que me deu. Na roda da capoeira, haha, grande e pequeno sou eu. Eu me chamo de Vicente Ferreira Pastinha. Eu nasci pra capoeira, só deixo a capoeira quando eu morri. Eu amo o jogo da capoeira. E não há outra coisa melhor na minha vida, no resto da minha vida, que seja a capoeira.
Não pode dar seu valor. Capoeira veio da África, africano quem o trouxe. Todos podem aprender, general também doutor. Quem desejar aprender, vem aqui em Salvador. Procure o mestre Pastinha, ele é o professor. E viva meu mestre, e viva meu mestre Amara. E é quem me ensinou, e quem me ensinou Amara. E é capoeiragem, e capoeira Amara. Aí a nossa beira, e o dianteiro Amara. E morro de São Paulo, e morro de São Paulo Amara. E farol da Bahia, e farol da Bahia Amara. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não, não me pegue, não me agarre, não me pegue não. E dona Alice, não me pegue não. E canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. 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 E canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Quem tem fé em Deus nunca cai em bozó. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. E canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira, mas Pastinha é o maior. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. E canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. O segredo da lua, quem sabe é o clarão do sol. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. E canarinho da Alemanha que matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira na Bahia e Maceió. Canarinho da Alemanha que matou
Hoje eu estou com 79. Olha, minha vida é uma vida muito atrapalhada, se eu contar. Mas tem centenas de pessoas, milhares de pessoas que me conhecem, que já me acompanharam de infância e que vem me acompanhando, poderá dizer alguma coisa. Todos eles que quiser dizer alguma coisa sobre a minha biografia, pode dizer qualquer coisa. Eu aceito tudo e qualquer. Agora, tem uma coisa, não fui bobo na roda da capoeira, eu não fui bobo.
Ei, esta é minha opinião. Eu tanto jogo para cima. Eu também jogo para o chão. Eu vou cantar meu barra dentro. Ei, buraco vem sem cobrar dentro.
and you are listening to Gateway to Brazil. I am Izabel Harris in this cold, cold, cold day. I believe that we are by the end of the winter because, let me tell you the truth, I hope that the groundhog was correct because I can't take anymore. In Brazil, it's so hot at this particular moment as we speak. This morning I called over there and they said that it's like 9.5. So sometimes I wonder how far this winter is going. And we cannot complain because the winter has behaved so beautifully in Chicago. But anyway, just to warm up the day, I brought some capoeira for you. Capoeira is a traditional Brazilian martial art, dance, everything. And today is to celebrate Black History Month. We are going to get to know everything that you want to know about capoeira. You can give us a call at 773-702-8424 during the music period so we can let you ask your question and maybe we can put you live and we can discuss about this great, great aspect of our culture. But just to give you the toast of the day, I brought a very special guest, my dearest and special friend, Obadele Kambon, a.k.a. Africano, because he's one of the capoeirista that is going to be talking to us today. So, Obadele, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Muito bom.
Muito bom. And he's learning how to speak Portuguese. Why Africano? Why did you change your name into Africano? Tell me, what is this deal of capoeira that everybody has to have a name?
Well, in capoeira, a person doesn't choose their own names. It's a nome de guerra, which is a war name that you are awarded, based on certain characteristics, personality, traits that you display either in the roda de capoeira or just in life. So the name that my instructor Valentao, gave me was Africano because I speak 4 African languages. I always wear African clothes. He said, hey, this guy here, Africano, that's your name.
And the name matched the personality. Mm-hmm. But you, African-American, speaking African languages, learning capoeira, what's going on with this diaspora?
Well, one thing is that for Black people, in this country and throughout the world, oftentimes we don't see ourselves as being defined by the nation that we might find ourselves in. So as opposed to seeing myself as African American or that person over there is Brazilian, Afro-Brazilian, or that person is Ghanaian, I would see us all as Black people. So, no matter where we're located, we are all of African descent. We're all Black people. So, for me to be studying African languages, for me to be studying Black studies as I did in undergrad, for me to be studying capoeira, for me to be studying the Dalits in India, I see it all as part of this global African presence in this global African world.
Okay, so let's concentrate today in capoeira. Another day we can discuss the diaspora, but today let's talk about the capoeira. We heard the berimbau. I know a whole bunch of things, but I want you, because you are the one that's learning capoeira, you are the one that's instructing capoeira, you are the one that is living with capoeira, because capoeira is in my blood since childhood. But I would like to know your perception. So, give it up. What's the history of capoeira? What's this all about?
Well, as far as, let's start at the beginning with the origin. Now, this is a major point of contention. Now, certain people say, oh, it came preformed from Africa. Others say, no, it's indigenous to Brazil, But, there are different scholars, different people who've done research on this. And, for example, my teacher of Kikongo, a language of the Congo, he ties the word capoeira to the word kipura. And the word pura is from the verb to flutter, about or in a fighting manner. So if you see roosters fighting, you would say, witipura, that, he or she is fluttering around in this fighting type of manner. So kipura is the art of this type of fighting. And others also trace, one of the forms of capoeira is capoeira Angola. Some trace that to the dance of Ngolo. And as a matter of fact, Albano de Neves e Souza of Angola, he's quoted as saying, "O Ngolo é a capoeira," which is that this game of Ngolo, that is capoeira. And in this type of ritualistic zebra dance, when it was time for the young ladies to go into puberty, to become of marriageable age, they would have a competition where all of the men would attempt to, go against each other, one against the other in this contest of Kipura, in order to see, all right, who is the best? And the one who was the best was able to get a wife without paying the bride price. So this was a very, very good motivation for people to be very good at this Ngolo, or as it is now, Capoeira Angola.
But in this context, would it be the fight or would it be the dance?
Mm-hmm. In this context, it could be either, just like how capoeira is now, capoeira de luta, capoeira de dança, which is capoeira is a fight, capoeira is also a dance. One of my instructors for capoeira studied with Pastinha, and in an interview with Pastinha said, it's a fight. It's always been a fight. At the same time, it's a dance, and some of the capoeira songs speak to this.
Since you mentioned Pastinha, let us talk about this peculiar person. Pastinha is from Bahia, and the opening song was Pastinha's voice, explaining who he was and everything. Pastinha, he died some time ago, but he was the elegance of the capoeira. He got the capoeira Angola, capoeira, into another level. And during the Dakar Festival in 1966, Pastinha went there to show capoeira do Brasil, the Brazilian capoeira. And he was acclamated because it was something that the African in general was missing. They lost that touch, the fighting aspect of the capoeira, not just the dance, but all the ginga. Capoeira has a whole new vocabulary. So if you don't understand a word, take note and give us a call during the music. So talk to the audience and tell them who was Pastinha and his influence in the capoeira.
Well, when I first started studying capoeira, it was with a group that was directly from the Pastinha lineage. So that was very rich and rewarding. Now, Pastinha was a counterpart to another great mestre, Bimba. Now, they were from two different styles. Bimba was from regional, and Pastinha was
derivative of Angola,
exactly,
but lower.
Exactly. And Angola was Pastinha's form. This is the traditional form. And oftentimes it's more linked towards those of the lower classes, usually the black people of Bahia. So this is Angola, and one of the characteristics of Angola is it's usually low to the ground, plays slow. It's kind of like a chess match where it's a call and response. If I do this move, I expect you to do a particular type of response. Now, another thing is malicia, this concept of malicia, where you use trickery and cunning in order to go against what I might expect you to do. Now, this is Angola, and Pastinha was one of the great preservers of Angola. And he was born in 1889 in the state of Bahia. And he opened
Engenho Velho de Brotas, in Salvador.
There you go. And he opened his academy up in the 40s. And this was one of the things that really helped to restore, the good name to capoeira, because throughout the years, it had been associated with these malandros, those malandros on the street.
Explain what malandro is.
These are the thugs. These are the street
thugs, the vagabonds.
Exactly. Who, would carry razors and just, as a matter of fact, at a certain time, all these capoeiristas would wear these red silk handkerchiefs in order to prevent themselves from being cut, because the razors would get stuck in these handkerchiefs. So this is still a tradition that's carried on by some capoeiristas. So what Pastinha did, he restored the respectability. Now, in the history of the capoeira, you had this importation from Africa, this African martial art. And, one thing about capoeira is that we find other forms of capoeira all throughout the black world. So in the south of the United States, you find a form called knocking and kicking, which is documented in the Gullah Sea Islands all the way through the southeast. You also find in Martinique the tradition of damye and laja. Wherever the black people were, we took our fighting form, our dance form with us. You also found, merengue, which is found all the way through the Cape Verde Islands to Madagascar. And you find all of these similar forms that if you look at it and nobody tells you, you'll say, oh, this is capoeira from Brazil. But this is wherever black people are, we preserve our forms. And we develop them based on our context as it was developed in Brazil.
Because Brazil, just an addendo, Brazil, if you go to places like Bahia, you can see capoeira on a daily basis. And yes, Pastinha helped to demystify the capoeira, bring capoeira to the mainstream. Because prior to that, the capoeira, always the Center for Capoeiras, they were linked with the candomblé shrines, some other things, or from some churches, some orders, or Terceira do Carmo and some other orders. So what happened is that because the shrines, people could not fight. Like if the police was coming or if the authorities was trying to close the shrines. So the capoeiristas were the ones that were supposed to defend the Alorisha or the Babalorishas. So they were very respected in the shrine context. But in the daily life, they are not respected because generally capoeiristas, they are Ogun, okay? And Ogun is a warrior. My audience, they are very knowledgeable because I told them about the Orishas already. But one day, we can go back on the Orishas. But anyway, so the capoeiristas, they, after the shrine sessions, they used to be fighting in the streets. So Pastinha curbed that enthusiasm, and said, no, this has to be respectable. So since his academy, he put that in academy, so in a school set, and he had transformed everything. But I'm not going to be talking here. Here today is Africano, Obadele Kambon, that is going to be the guest. We are waiting for another guest, but meanwhile, another capoeira song for us.
Esse jogo é tioso, não é Angola, é capoeira de bimba. Brincadeira tem hora, joga com garra e mandinga. Esse jogo é tioso, não é Angola, é capoeira de bimba. Brincadeira tem hora, joga com garra e mandinga. Esse jogo é tioso, não é Angola, é capoeira de bimba. Brincadeira tem hora, joga com garra e mandinga. Esse jogo é tioso, não é Angola, é capoeira de bimba. Hoje em dia me se dizer que capoeira é somente brincadeira, esquecendo da história, seu passado de glória, como luta verdadeira. Capoeira é uma arte do africano de valor, que usava a cabeçada, se livrar do feitor. Capoeira é uma arte do africano de valor, que usava a cabeçada, se livrar do feitor. Oi, sim, sim, sim.
Call response. Hey, you are listening to Gateway to Brazil, and this is a Brazilian song, but I heard call in response in capoeira. What is this is all about?
Now, wherever you find black people, whether it's the black church, whether it's on the continent of Africa, wherever black people are, we find this type of call and response. Now, in capoeira, this is a kind of physical call and response. So one person might do a kick, and, you know, if someone is playing beautifully, you would say jogo bonito. If someone is playing very beautifully, there shouldn't be any contact, because when I throw this kick, you know how to escape it and avoid it. You know how to move over to the side. So this is a call and response that we see in the physical play of capoeira, and it's also something that we see in the music of capoeira. Now, a little bit more on the music of capoeira, that there's a ritualistic aspect to the music of capoeira, that we start off with what's called ladainha. And the ladainha is a litany, and it's a solo type of performance where a person will go off and speak about history. They'll speak about their personal history. They'll speak about experiences, observations about life. And we have another guest who has just walked in, Instructor Valentao, my instructor of capoeira. Now, I'm sure he has plenty that he would like to add, but let's let him greet the radio listening audience today.
Oi, tudo bem? Glad to be here. We look forward to enlightening you guys today and trying to give you as much knowledge and information as possible. So without further ado, Africano will continue about the instrument, the berimbau. Thank you very much.
All right. So, as we mentioned, following the ladainha, we have what's known as the chula, which is this call and response. And we can, as a matter of fact, give some examples of the ladainha, of the chula. And following that, we have the corrido, which is the call and response songs, you know, longer songs. And they can deal with any type of topic. They can be used to taunt, used to make observations, used to intimidate, used to tell history, all types of things. So perhaps we can give people an example of what these things sound like.
But did you explain then what instrument are you going to play?
Now, the instrument that I'm going to play is called the berimbau. And the berimbau it looks sort of like a bow and arrow. So when I walk up to people, they say, are you doing archery? Now, it's a bow type of instrument that has one string. And it also has a gourd that is used as a resonator to help the sound echo, to help it travel. It's similar to like the box for a guitar or a banjo.
It's like a calabash material.
Exactly, just like a calabash or a gourd type of material. Also, we have the kashishi, which is the shaker.
And we call this snake.
Exactly.
like
exactly.
a snake.
Because it sounds just like that. Then we have the baqueta, which is the stick that's used to hit the arame, the cord, the metal cord. Also, we have the bariba wood, which is the wood that the berimbau is made out of.
That's bent.
Exactly.
They have to bend in order for you to put the
string on.
To put the string.
And we also have the dobrao. Now, either the dobrao, the rock, or the moeda is used to change the pitch. So, in this, where all this comes together as the instrument, one of the instruments that's the soul of capoeira. It can be used to play sullen songs, for exciting songs, all types of things. And it all comes together as a beautiful mixture of music that is capoeira.
Go ahead. Make my day.
All right.
De Chicago, que não conhece a capoeira, não pode dar seu valor. Capoeira judaca,
Africano que eu dou, todos podem aprender. General também doutor, quem desejar aprender, vem aqui a Chicago. Procura um instrutor Valentao, ele é o professor. Viva meu mestre,
Viva meu mestre, camarada.
Que me ensinou,
Que me ensinou, camarada.
a capoeira,
A capoeira, camarada.
ora,
Ora, camarada.
Vamos embora,
Vamos embora, camarada.
pelo mundo afora, pelo mundo afora, camarada. Nem tudo que reluz é ouro, nem tudo que balança cai. Nem tudo que reluz é ouro, nem tudo que balança cai. Cai, 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 capoeira balança, mano cai. Cai, 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 capoeira balança, mano cai. Cai, 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 escorrega, balança, mano cai. Cai, cai.
And you are listening to Gateway to Brazil. I'm Izabel Harris with two special guests, Africano and Valentao. And to celebrate the Black History Month, we are talking about the Capoeira. Capoeira de Angola, Capoeira regional, Capoeira da Bahia, Capoeira from everywhere. Capoeira is part of the diaspora. So, Valentao, since you came late,
Yes.
but you are excused because I know that you rushed throughout the city to come here on time. How long have you been in Capoeira?
I've been studying capoeira since 1992.
And why Capoeira with so many options in Chicago?
Well, I've always done martial arts, and I've had an opportunity to see capoeira in the 80s and in the 1970s, and it just appealed to me. It was something different. It was something about me. I never saw anything like it, and the only martial artists that I saw that looked like me were Jim Kelly, and they were doing, Asian martial arts. So it was a whole phenomenon that appealed to me, and it also looked like breakdancing at the time that I saw it. So back in the day, so to speak, I used to breakdance.
I can imagine. And Capoeira, one of the things that Capoeira is important because there is no age limit. You can teach for kids and you can teach for adults. It's a way to exercise, it's a gym. I'm a little bit lazy, but I promise one day I'll get myself together. Female, male, and also discipline. Tell me why somebody would go for Capoeira exactly here in Chicago. Because in Brazil, I know, you send your child to Capoeira to learn how to respect. And here in Chicago, what would be a good deal?
Well, with capoeira, it encompasses so many different things. It encompasses music, it encompasses gymnastics, it encompasses fighting ability, history, language. So out of those elements, a person will gravitate toward one or the other, but at the same time, they're getting all of the above. So if I like music, I hear the music, I start to come to capoeira for the music, but as I get more into it and learn more about it, I embrace it all.
Okay, in talking about music, you guys were singing Portuguese. And I know that the Africano is learning some words because we have been practicing some Portuguese. But even the accent, you're getting together. So how this music penetrates? And you have a curious story because you didn't have capoeira where you were before. Explain about that and how deeply you got involved with this genre of cultural?
Well, for myself, I began with capoeira back down in Atlanta with Grupo Capoeira de Angola. And, at first I really wasn't interested in the music, because I didn't see how it related. I was like, oh, it's Portuguese, it's another European language, and there really wasn't an attraction. Now, then I moved from group to group until I finally did some research, and I found this group in Chicago. Now, I started driving about 3.5 hours down to Lansing at the border of Indiana from Madison, Wisconsin for this group. And as I, listened to the music, as I started reading more books, doing more research, the music really spoke to me. A lot of the philosophy of the songs, we went through right there, a la dainha, the chula, the corrido, so you got the full view. And as we mentioned before, the music can be used to taunt, like there's a song, O Menino Choro, which is, little boy cry. So, that's if somebody, maybe they might get swept or, kicked inadvertently, whatever. And then like, oh, yeah. So then you might sing that song to kind of taunt them. Then you have another one like, oh, Dora, Lisa, no me pegging now, which is Dora Lisa, don't hit me, don't grab me, don't do all these things.
Dora Lisa is a female name. It's like, so don't touch me, Dora Lisa.
Exactly. So you could sing that, especially to taunt somebody, especially if a guy's all over you and doing all types of things and trying to, play you real close. You can say, oh, Dora Lisa, no me pegging now. So just, getting the context of it. There's another one. Yo passando num caminho, uma cobra me mordeu. Meu veneno era mais forte. Essa cobra que morreu, essa cobra que morreu. So this is...
Explain about that.
Okay.
Do you know the lyrics in
Yes,
English? Okay.
Yes. So that's saying, I was walking and passing and a cobra bit me, but my venom was stronger and it was a cobra that died. So say if you're playing in the capoeira holder and somebody comes out very aggressive, now, you just kind of play it cool, and then all of a sudden you just come out and pop them. You could start singing that song right there on the spot. I was just walking and playing in the capoeira hole, and this guy came to attack me, but my venom was much stronger. It's used to make observations. We sang the song, Nem tudo que reluz ouro, nem tudo que balança cai, which is, it's not everything that shines as gold. In the same manner, it's not everything that slips or tries to shake and balance itself that will fall. So this is saying that capoeiristas, even though we might play, we might get in all types of rough situations, somebody might try to get the upper hand, we don't fall. So, in the olden days, the mestres would wear white, especially on Sundays, coming from church.
Terno de linho, like a suit made of linen material. So,
exactly.
And chapéu Panama hat. Yes. You still have some figures like that on weekends on Bahia.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, there's a song that commemorates that, which says, what is that? Para lavar minha roupa não tem sabão. Tem sabão no sude não, pra lavar minha roupa não tem sabão, which is, to wash my clothes, you don't need any soap, which is because the very good capoeiristas, the very good mestres who wear this white, they never got dirty. They never fell on the ground. People would try to sweep them, do all types of things, but they would never, ever fall. So it's saying, hey, if you need to wash my clothes, you don't even need soap because they're not even dirty. So.
And I agree. And it's amazing because you see the capoeirista and you see some gray hair and you just say, just an ordinary citizen. And you don't know that you're in front of a master. Somebody that we call Menino, quem foi seu mestre? Who was your master? Who is that guy, that gray hair, that old age person, that elder that taught so much? So Valentão, tell me about the hierarchy of the capoeira, like the colors, because there is some hierarchy, like the cordas and everything.
Well, with the groups in Angola, they don't believe in wearing a belt or colored cord or corda, just because the philosophy of Pastinha. Well, I have to explain that Pastinha's colors are yellow and black, and his group a lot of people ask, well, why do you wear yellow and black? And the reason being is that was the color of Pastinha's favorite soccer team or football team. So he decided to make all of his students wear yellow and black. Now, as we get to Mestre Bemba, he incorporated a lot of the Asian traditions as far as ranking system, because you had a lot of Japanese immigrants coming to Brazil during his time. So, Capoeira has evolved into and taken certain aspects of Asian traditions as far as the ranking system. And a lot of the academias, their chord system or ranks are based off the Brazilian flag. So it depends on the philosophical view of the instructor or the mastery behind the ranking system.
So in a capoeira, for you to have a group, at least what's the minimum number of people? Because some has to play, some has to play instruments.
Well, when I first started the group, I started here at the University of Chicago, and my instructor was Professora Marisa from Gingati Capoeira, and we started off with no more than about 5 students. So, you played capoeira, you played an instrument. You might have had one person playing the berimbau, one person playing the atubaki, and 2 people playing. So it depends. Or you can play by yourself, because what you're doing is expressing what's inside of you. And if you have music, you express yourself. If you don't have music, the music is internal. So everything that comes from you is a deep-rooted expression of what capoeira has done for you or is doing for you.
Okay, let us listen another song, and after that we can move on, because I need to ask. I have so many more questions to ask. And if you, audience, has any question, 773-702-8424. Now is the time to ask us question.
You are listening to Gateway to Brazil, WHPK 88.5, University of Chicago Radio. There are currently 532,000 children in the public child welfare system, with 129,000 waiting to be adopted right now. You can make a difference by adopting one of these children and giving them a stable home and a bright future. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes you a hero. To learn more, call 1-888-200-4005. Again, that number is 1-888-200-4005, or visit www.adoptuskids.org.
You're listening to WHBK Gateway to Brazil 88.5. You can help to prevent domestic violence. Talk to the boys in your life before their ideas about relationships with women are shaped. Boys won't approach you. We need to teach them that violence against women is wrong. Find out how you can help at www.endabuse.org. Again, that's www.endabuse.org.
And talking about violence, talking about adoption, talking about everything that's going on in the community. So how you as young black male could help to prevent or to help to transit these youngsters into a normal adulthood? Because through capoeira.
Well, one initiative that we're doing right now is over at DuSable Leadership Academy, a local high school over on 49th Street. We've started an after-school program in conjunction with the staff and faculty over there, who are very enthusiastic about the program and really help to get it through. And with this, we are channeling those children who after school might be otherwise running the streets or doing things that aren't necessarily helpful for themselves or the community. So they start doing capoeira. The young men and the young women, they are doing capoeira. They're learning discipline. They're learning, you can't just act any kind of way that you want up in capoeira class. At the same time, they learn the movements. They're learning the music. They're learning the philosophy. So we've just started.
And the black history.
And definitely black history. We definitely cannot leave that out. Now, we just started, and the classes are Monday and Wednesday. I'm facilitating. Also, Instructor Valentao is helping to facilitate this program. And it's 3:30 to 5:30 Monday and Wednesday. And it's a good resource for children.
But that at DuSable for the students.
Mm-hmm.
But for the general community, what can they do?
Well, the general community, they can come to the High Park Community Neighborhood Club. We're located at 5840 South Kenwood Avenue. We have classes Wednesdays and Friday nights from 7 to 9. We're having class tonight, so if you want to come down and find out what we're doing in the community, what positive things that we're promoting to help the youth of Chicago, to help the community as a whole heal itself with capoeira. And I'd just like to say that capoeira has always been and always will be a staple of the community, because in Brazil right now, most of you probably know about the condition of the street children. So what's going on is a lot of the capoeiristas and organizations over there coming together to help the street children get off the street via capoeira. So capoeira is definitely a part of the community in Brazil, in Rio, in Bahia, in Recife, in Sao Paulo, to help these children. So what we're trying to do is trying to implement the same programs that they have over there to the children here in the United States. A lot of capoeiristas in the United States are doing the same thing. So any support that you guys can give our way, we very much appreciate it.
And one thing that we're definitely trying to do is target those children who might be otherwise at risk, as we mentioned, for getting into other things. We're here on the south side, so no one has to go up to the north side. We're right here near the radio station. Disadvantaged children. We see ourselves as doing similar work to what Pastinha did, similar work to what Mr. Bimba did, in the sense of particularly those black children who, otherwise might be getting into other things that aren't helpful. We're trying to provide a channel, an avenue for these children here on the south side, those on the west side, to have something that ties into our history, our culture. And given that this is Black History Month, we definitely didn't want to leave out that piece, that this ties into us, it relates to us, it's part of our African culture, history, and heritage.
Is there any telephone number that if anybody wants more information that they could contact you guys?
Yes, you guys can contact us at 773-412-6346. Again, that's 773-412-6346. And we also have a website. The website is www.capoeiraakibulan.com. And Akibulan is spelled Akebelan. Thank you.
Okay, so another music from Capoeira is being very delightful to come together with the diaspora, because you guys are from here. I'm from Brazil. I'm learning a lot. Even though I grew up with Capoeira, you are bringing me so many information that it's very helpful. And this is a form of enlightenment of the community. So another Capoeira music.
Quando eu morrer disse besouro, quando eu morrer disse besouro, não quero choro nem velo, também não quero barulho na porta do cemitério. Eu quero meu birimbau, eu quero meu birimbau, todo uma fita amarela gravado com o nome dela. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. Ei, como é meu nome? É besouro. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. Olha lá, siri de mangue, todo tempo não é e aqui você não vê, tá prezado ganhar muito. Quando eu entro você sai, quando eu saio você entra. Nunca vi mulher danada que não fosse ciumenta. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. Ei, o meu nome é besouro. E como é meu nome? É besouro. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira, mestre Bimbe é o maior. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Na roda da capoeira, quero ver quem é melhor. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira e pastinha é melhor. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira da Bahia, Maceió. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira, canjiquinha é melhor. Ei. Canarinho da Alemanha, quem matou meu curió. Eu jogo capoeira,
One thing that I noticed is a different language, different instrument, different everything. How the youngster can be related to the capoeira?
Well, I think the youngsters can relate to capoeira is because capoeira is the genesis to what we call hip-hop or breakdancing. A brief history on that is Master Jalon Vieira in the 1970s came to New York, and he taught the gangbangers and the thugs capoeira, and they liked the floreos or the acrobatic movements so much that they took out the fight aspects of it and focused more on the rhythm, the movements, the acrobatic movements. And as you know, hip-hop has a lot of African-based rhythms and beats. So again, because I think it's genetic, it's part of who we are, that we are attracted to this. So thus, the whole world is attracted to capoeira. You have capoeira on every continent except Antarctica. You have it in China, Russia. People are embracing the African Brazilian Japan.
And I saw capoeira in India last month.
Yeah, people are definitely embracing the African Brazilian culture, or just African culture, because hip hop is just as popular as capoeira. You have people in Japan rapping, breakdancing, people in China doing the same thing. So the influence of African culture is in everything that we do, from the fashion to the music, and capoeira is just a small aspect of a larger picture, which is the progression of African culture around the world.
Okay, and since capoeira is all this, can you tell us like some masters that are here in the United States, or some well-known masters throughout the world that you can recall some of them?
Well, first and foremost, in New York, you have Mr. Jaiel Grande de Pastinha, a direct student of Mr. Pastinha. There's also Jaiel Pequeno, who's down in Brazil, Mr. Moraes, who transits between Brazil and the United States. There are, other well-known masters.
Master Accordion in California, Master Ha, Master Jalon Vieira in New York, Master Delay in Miami of Capoeira Abolição, Professora Contra-Mestre Marisa Cordero, Gingati Capoeira here in Chicago.
Wow, we have a whole bunch of people spreading the news of capoeira all over the world. And talking about the Marisa, Sunday, the Grupo Quasar, Sunday evening, there is a reception in a partnership of Columbia College, Brazilian Cultural Center, and Gingarte Capoeira. This reception is for the Grupo Quasar that is going to be presenting at Columbia College. Unfortunately, I don't have the program here with me, but you can call the group, Marisa. You can call Marisa at 773-924-3220, and she can explain to you what exactly is going to happen. But Quasar is a dance group that is going to be presented at the Dance Center of Columbia College, and the reception is going to be at 2909 North Milwaukee Avenue, 2nd floor, where Gingarte is located. Can you tell the audience some other place that they can go for capoeira here in Chicago? Because we cannot just talk about one group, but Gingarte, that is your group, that is Akiboan, and some other groups here in Chicago?
You have Capoeira Abolição. They're located at Essential Elements Martial Arts Academy and Fitness Center. That's right off 79th and Western. You have Capoeira Nação. You have Capoeira Ashe, which is located in the South Loop area. And to find out where all these schools are in the Chicago area and surrounding suburbs, you can go to www.capoeirista.com and just type in Capoeira schools in Chicago or Illinois, and they'll give you a listing of every school here in Illinois.
And one thing that's important in capoeira, there is the respect from each other, because in the music, the previous music that we listened to, they say that you can play capoeira, but Pastinha era maior, or Bimba, Mestre Bimba era maior, Mestre Vermelho, Pé Grande, different masters. But those masters, they are masters because they went all the way through with the capoeira, so they can teach capoeira. So they have the master, the contramaster. Who else?
Professors, instructors, graduados, fumados, and the list is endless.
Yes, because there is a hierarchy. So it's very interesting when you go to like a master's class. Like sometimes they have just master's presentation in Salvador. Those days you can see like everybody has what they call the cat jump. Something that nobody knows. They come with something completely different to show. Something different to show that they can shine. Okay? And some masters, like I saw once last year when I was in Salvador, the guy was more or less 70 years old and he could kick. Because that kept him in good shape, because the capoeira in general is a fitness process, correct?
Yes. The thing about capoeira is, just speaking from personal experience, I used to do martial arts before I did capoeira, and when I first saw it, I didn't believe in it, so I had to test it out. And my first instructor, again, was a woman, and I'm a pretty big guy, so I challenged her, and the next thing I know, I had a foot in the mouth. And I had a headache for 2 weeks, and that convinced me to take up capoeira.
Seriously, and never underestimate a capoeirista woman.
Or woman, exactly.
And the girls, they can fight in Brazil. But one thing that is in the call response, because like in the candomblé, they have the roda de capoeira, and the ladies are there just to give like some more life to the party. So how is here?
It's the same thing. It's samba de roda, and basically, for anybody that's been to Brazil and they know what carnival is about, and you see samba and you feel the energy, we also have that in capoeira, just to pick up the spirits, to take it down a notch from the play of capoeira, and to just have fun and relax. Basically, capoeira, to me, it represents life as a good thing, as a ever continuing party. So capoeira, it has a serious side, but for the most part, what most people know of the Brazilian culture and of Brazilians, that they're kind of laid back, relaxed, and they enjoy life, and that's what capoeira does for people who begin to take it and begin to understand it, that life is what you make it, and you try to make it as exciting and fun and memorable as possible.
So if someone from the audience want to go and see you guys tonight or any day here in Hyde Park, where do they have to go?
They have to go to 5480 South Kenwood. That's the Hyde Park Neighborhood Club. Again, that's 5480 South Kenwood, Hyde Park Neighborhood Club, and we can be reached at 773-412-6346. Wednesdays and Fridays from 7 to 9.
Okay, and the price is very, very reasonable, and especially if you have kids. It's some way for your kids to be fit, learn some gymnastics, learning self-defense, music, rhythm, choreography, plus African history. That's one of the major things, because I'm impressed the way that the Africano and Valentao, the way that they discuss African history, and they know the diaspora. Valentao is more familiar with Brazil and other places. He has been going there, visiting Brazil. And Africano, he lived in Africa. He lived in Nigeria, Ghana, and he can speak some African languages. So it's important, because your kid is going to have a cultural aspect, plus good male role model. Okay, so it's not something that is just going to phase. It's something that your kid has to take seriously, because he's going to learn something, plus interact with people that is going to give a good example, good role model. So tell us about like some of the history that the kids are going to learn in the classes.
Well, especially since this is Black History Month, this is a very important point that you bring up. The children will learn about Palmares, which is known often as the first independent republic in the Western Hemisphere without slavery. It was a quilombo, which was a maroon society that was set up by Africans who ran away from the plantations, set up an entire governance system, a way to feed themselves, clothe themselves, trade, all types of things. And Zumbi de Palmares was the leader of that, who's often renowned as the first mestre of Capoeira. We'll learn about history that ties Africans all throughout the diaspora together. We'll learn about the history of Capoeira, when it was banned, how it came back. And it's not just Brazilian history, it's the history of Africans all throughout the world, black people all throughout the world. So we'll learn about all this. We'll learn about the philosophy of Capoeira, the history of Capoeira.
2 hours?
In
2 hours? 2 hours? No, 4 hours a week?
4 hours a week. Plus, you know, because there's such a camaraderie, we often meet outside of class. We'll discuss Capoeira, we'll discuss the music. You know, sometimes we get together on Sundays, Saturdays. So in addition to what you pay for as a class.
That is very, very reasonable.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I loved it and I still love it. So that's what keeps me coming back.
Okay, and while you are waiting for Rendezvous Africa, because they are a little bit late, we are going to continue to play more capoeira and discuss capoeira and Black History Month. So stay tuned, because we are here to keep you very busy, and your mind, when it's working properly, is something that we never know what can come up. So Gateway to Brazil always have something to present. We are going to be discussing more about capoeira in 1 minute.
Na mandinga não foi bobo não, viu? Agora, pra eu dizer, pra eu contar assim, eu não vou contar nada, porque se eu contar, fica uma coisa muito longa e parece que eu estou no céu. Cidade de Assunção, cidade de Assunção, capital de Itamaraty. É enganos das nações, da sepultura do Brasil. Pastinha já foi à África a mostrar a capoeira do Brasil.
Eu já vivo enjoado de viver aqui na terra. Oh mamãe, eu vou pra lua. Falei com minha mulher, ela então me respondeu: nós vamos, se Deus quiser, vamos fazer um ranchinho todo cheio de sapé. Amanhã às 7 horas nós vamos tomar café.
And you are listening to Gateway to Brazil at WHPK 88.5 FM, the pride of Southside.
Que a terra vai voar, tudo isto é conversa, não comer sem trabalhar. O Senhor, amigo meu, veja bem o meu cantar. Quem é dono não ciúma, quem não é quer ciúmar. E galo cantou, e galo cantou, e cocorocô.
capoeirista fazia não era propriamente por ele, era também provocado. Porque se estava numa variação, num grupo, com um birimbau, não é? Na mão, eles passavam, entendia de querer tomar para quebrar, aí inflamava, não é? O íntimo do capoeirista não queria perder seu instrumento, não é? Então nós tínhamos que brigar. Um instrumento, por exemplo, como o birimbau, não é somente instrumento. Agora vou aproveitar para dizer alguma coisa. Não é somente instrumento. Muita gente tem que é o instrumento birimbau, birimbau, birimbau. Birimbau é música, é instrumento.
Well, we are listening to Gateway to Brazil, WHPK 88.5 FM, and we're discussing about capoeira. And in this discussion on capoeira, came up this song that say, when I die, bury me at Lapinha. Lapinha is like Lapa is it's like a place, a special place in the cemetery where they have like some sanctuary. But a capoeirista, they want to be buried with culotte pants, that means loose pants, suit, and a cushion pillow, because they want to rest. They fought the whole life, so they want to rest. But Africano was calling my attention about some teachings that he got. Dr.
Well, just a little bit also about that song of Besouro. That in this song, you know, a lot of it is determined by the context that Besouro was an old mestre and the uncle of another well-known mestre, Cobrinha Verde. Now, Besouro was said to be completely untouchable by the police, that nobody could catch him, and they called him Besouro the Beetle because whenever the police would come up on him, he would just flutter away like a beetle and they could never catch him. Now, eventually, they found out that the reason why he was so indestructible was because he had special magic, this type of manjinga that he always used to have with him. So what they decided to do is try to find a wooden knife, try to craft a wooden knife. And they used this wooden knife to kill him. And when they killed him, they took his cordal de oro, which was his golden chain that he used to always carry with him. So what this song is saying is, when I die, you know, just as Mama Izabel said, when I die, I want to be buried at La Piña with these pants, with the suit. And he's saying that when he dies, he's giving his last request because he's going to go and take revenge on the one who killed Besouro, the old mestre. So this is the song of a very brave man who was going off to fight those who unjustly killed Besouro. Now, another part that we were discussing was a teaching. One of the languages that I speak is Kikongo. And Mama Izabel was asking about why there are so many kicks. You know, somebody who's just looking from the outside would think that there are almost no hand movements. But this ties back into the philosophy of the Africans who brought the martial art over. And in Kikongo, my teacher, Nganga Fukiao, he knows a proverb that he shared with me, which is Moko Mutunga, Malu Mu Diakitisa, which is that hands are used to build, however, feet are used to destroy. So in this worldview, we see it as hands are what we use for productive, creative activities. But when we might get into capoeira, now it's a dance at the same time as a fight. When we get into capoeira, that's when we focus more on the foot techniques, the different things that we use to defend ourselves, the things that we use in order to be aggressive are the feet. So that's just a little bit of the worldview of the people in Central Africa, Congo, Angola, who brought it over.
And that ties with some other teaching that we got that, for example, capoeira, the slaves that went into Brazil, they used the capoeira to defend themselves against the masters. Like when Zumbi do Palmares, when he created the Quilombo do Palmares in Alagoas, they didn't have any weapon. So the only weapon, their feet. To walk, to run, and to fight. So a capoeirista, they can jump. They can, like, because you guys do some flips. So through the flips, it's hard for them because by then they had those old kind of guns. I don't know what they call here.
Muskets.
Muskets, mosquetão we call in Portuguese in some of them. So with the mosquetão, because you are flipping, they could not reach you easily. And also, it became like difficult for them to come, like if they come with the knife is held by the hand, and the hand is not as strong as the feet. So those slaves that knew how to play capoeira, generally the masters was always like the slave owners, they're always afraid of those ones because those ones, they could get their freedom.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that because the slaves were normally chained by the wrist, the feet were very important, but also the legs were bound sometime, or certain body parts were amputated. So the capoeirista had to be very clever. So he had to use his entire body. We have a movement called cabeçada, where it basically is a headbutt. So if my hands are basically tied or my feet are incapacitated, I still have my head, which is a hard part of my body. So again, that all ties back to using the feet because hands were chained. Slaves, they didn't have a lot of freedom of movement. So we have capoeira games like jogo de dentro, jogo de fora, which is inside outside game. So we had to get very low to the ground. So if you're incapacitated and you can't move, you basically would were confined to small spaces, so you had to defend yourself in small spaces. So thus, a lot of our movements are low to the ground, close quarter style combats. And also capoeira was, I would say, from my studies, was one of the first elements of guerrilla warfare because they lived in a lush vegetation, a jungle area, so things were very easy to hide. It was easy to hide people, traps, traps to take over armies, to take over, plantations. So again, capoeira is just more than a martial arts. It's a entire way of a lifestyle once you embrace the philosophy of capoeira. So again, just relating to what Brother Africano said, that the hands are for building and the feet are for destroying. So again, that's how a lot of that element of kicking came into capoeira, because it was out of necessity, because the hands were bound. So basically, again, this is Instructor Valentao, Capoeira Kibulan, 5840 South Kenwood Avenue, High Park Neighborhood Club, Wednesdays and Fridays, 7 to 9.
And Valentão, it's time for us to say goodbye to everyone. So your final comments. Silvia is here with Rendezvous Africa, and we needed to say goodbye and give it up. So your final considerations, and the audience has been so beautiful today. We got a call from Indiana, so they got the program in Indiana today. So I hope that the kids are listening to us and also get enthusiastic about learning capoeira.
Thank you very much for your time and your listening ear. At the Lago.
Yes, and for your final considerations?
Just that, since this is Black History Month, we really need to recognize our history, our culture, and reclaim it. This is our art. This is a part of us. So, it's time for the South Side of Chicago to represent.
And I'm Izabel Harris. I promise to come back in 2 weeks from now. Next week is going to be Steve with Gateway to Brazil. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with another special. So until then, goodbye.